Good afternoon, all. Welcome to the webinar hosted by Numerical Analytics Instrument Private Limited. So today we will be going to see why to migrate to TI technology. Okay, so before going to start the webinar, let me just introduce you to our company. Numerical Analytics is the leading provider of modern education technology, analytics, and business intelligence solutions. Numerical Analytics works with many educational institutes and corporate organizations to implement educational technology, business and analytical solutions to enhance and automate the business processes and requirements. So our company has two branches. One is educational technology and another is analytical technology. In education technology, we support students to avail the world-renowned STEM technology in India through Texas Instruments. And interactive learning tools and resources to the educational industries are provided. In analytical technology, we support the research analysts to avail the leading qualitative and quantitative research softwares in India to make their work more productive. So in education technology, there are many clients, and I have taken out some of the schools that are using the Texas Instrument calculator, like Ahmedabad International School, American Embassy School, Indus International School, the Heritage School, all the three pathways, Oberoi International School, Scottish, Kodaikanal, uh, Stonehill, Srinidhi, Navrachna. They are the some only few of the schools from the very long list of the school that I've shown you. So let us start our webinar, and let me introduce to the speakers of the webinar, Mr. Jalaj Chaturvedi. He's the TI trainer. He's also curriculum leader mathematics. He's a IBDP, IBMYP, Cambridge A-level, IGCSE mathematics teacher. He's also a IBDP TOK teacher. He's also examiner for Math HL. He's a very wide experience of managing teaching teams, and he has a full-time mathematics teacher and also a theory of knowledge teacher at various level in prestige institutes like Turkey, Indonesia, Yemen, Nepal, and also India. He holds Master of Science in Mathematics from MDS University, India. Our next speaker is Mr. John Paul Raj. He's our TCube trainer. He's also a math coach. He's currently teaching IB Mathematics, HL, SL, AA. Also, he is teaching AP Calculus, IGCSE International Mathematics. He has used TI products and is very familiar with TI ecosystem since 1997. So he's a very large or a huge experience in Texas Instruments technology. He taught at very reputed schools in India like Woodstock, Kodaikanal, Cathedral, and John Convent schools in all three major international curricula like AP's, Cambridge International Baccalaureate. He also holds master's degree in mathematics from Mumbai University, and also is currently pursuing a course on mathematical mindset from Stanford University. So without a further ado, I would like to call Mr. Jalaj to share his screen, and we'll get started with the webinar.
Thank you, Hassan. Let me share my screen, my thoughts, and remember, it's just sharing. So it is not a webinar where I'll be teaching you anything. I'll be sharing what I know, and I'll be expecting you all to please share. And if you have any questions at any point of time, please drop in question answer section, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. So without any delay, can you all see my screen? Great. So hello everyone. On behalf of Numerical Analytics, I welcome you all for this webinar. As mentioned by Hassan, my name is Jalaj, mathematics curriculum leader and TOK teacher in Indonesia. And I have been with IB for last 20 plus years. And with me is my colleague, John Paul from Mumbai, a very, very experienced maths coach and TCube trainer. So moving on, today we will explore why TA technology is better choice for all the educators around the globe. We will explore TA technology to a greater depth and see how can this be useful during the examination and before the examination. So before we start, let's have a quick discussion. This is a 2 minutes long activity. And I would like to hear from you all. What do you think? What is the main purpose of using a graphic calculator? And what matters the most during examination? So anything that comes to your mind, anything that you think, kindly put in the chat box. It is a 2 minutes long activity. And just to start with, whenever you conduct any activity in your classroom, maybe some time bound, some questions or activities, you may use your TI Nspire calculator for this. How it happens, let me show it to you quickly. So that timer can be on your screen and your questions or your activity can also be on your screen. So,
Jalaj, if any participant wants to speak, they can raise their hand and I will unmute them.
sure, sure. So what we can do is here, you just open your calculator, go to new widget. There are different widgets out here. There's a widget stopwatch. So you can add the stopwatch on your screen. And if you like to display your question also, then you can open a new page here. There are 2 ways to do this. So either you go through doc, insert a page, or there's a shortcut. You can directly type Control-I, and that takes you to a new page. Now, since here you would like to show them the question or the activities, so you can add a note. In this note, either you can type or you can paste. If you have already something already typed or in picture form, you can always insert and paste. So I have these 2 questions in the image, so I'll just put it here. So you have your questions here and you have your timer here. If you like to show them in the same screen, then you can just press Command 4 or say Command 4 in Mac or Control 4 in Windows, and you have the split screen. Now, if you're not happy with the font size, if you feel it's too small, then you can go to the display setting here and you can make it horizontal. So here I start the timer, 2 minutes. So please write your thoughts. I think you must have thought by now, so we'll keep it to 1 minute now. So the next, please write what you think, what is the main purpose of using a graphic calculator and what matters the most during examination, whether it's IB diploma, IGCSE A-level, IB NYP on screen, any examination. There you go. Your timer starts. You have a minute. Save time, kinetic answer, get precise answers. Can you increase the volume? Okay. You can write in the chat to make complex calculations easy. Great, we are getting lots of answers here, and the new message says, purpose help in visualizing functions, complex calculations done in C, calculation, graphing, correct answer, accuracy, timing.
Verify answer. That's interesting. Verify answers.
Verify answers. Okay, so we have exited the one. This is already 1 minute 20 seconds. So we stop here. So now I can see like we have many interesting answers, especially one verifying answers. So like what I feel, a graphic calculator is not just a calculator to solve questions. It is more for the learning purpose. It is the learning teaching tool for the inquiry-based conceptual learning. Like in MYP, in middle year, and now in IB diploma also, it is totally conceptual understanding and conceptual learning. So it is a great tool for conceptual understanding, conceptual teaching, and conceptual learning. It is a tool to model real-life situations and carry out explorations, investigation. It develops spatial visualization skills, and there are endless opportunities of a skill development through a graphic calculator, especially like when you are preparing your students for investigations in MYP, especially criterion B and criterion D, or exploration in IB diploma, whether it's MAA or MAI. Graphic calculator is a brilliant tool. They can visualize, they can connect their thoughts, and they can see exactly what is happening. And what matters the most during the examination? John, did you see any answer for this?
I think I like one response that some functions, going back to what you were saying about some functions, intersections may not be solvable analytically, which is going on to what you were saying just now about, it's a learning tool. It's a very important point. Maybe some later I'll say that. But in terms of the second question that you said, what matters most during the exam, I think several people said accuracy and timing. So I think they're hinting at the timing and getting the right answer.
Absolutely. Timing is crucial during examination because IB exams, especially IB diploma exams, they're designed in such a way that you have unannounced allotted time for each question. So timing is very important. We can't spend actually 15-20 minutes in a question worth 3-4 marks. So how graphic calculator, especially TA Nspire, can help us during the examination. So today we'll explore all those things. So what makes TA technology different from other graphic calculators, and why TI is so popular? Like in a study, it reads like more than 78% of the schools, they prefer TI technology, TI either TI 84, or now most of them are moving towards TI Nspire. So let's look and examine some of the unique features of Nspire and see like why is it anytime a better calculator. So there are so many different calculators in this range, like TI Nspire. We have some Casio, like CG50 is their new model. So CG50, we have Sharp, HP. So have a look at Casio CG50 and TI Nspire. Quickly looking at some logistics and some operational specs of this. So if you buy a CG50 calculator, you are not given any emulator, computer emulator with this, and you pay 1,776 Indian rupees per year for this. When you buy TI Nspire CX2, you get a lifetime free licensed emulator with this. And you get free updates. Like I recently got an update for free. I had TI Nspire. When I got CX2, I got a free update also. Templates for plotting graphs. This is again a beautiful time-saving and learning tool, which is sadly not available in Casio CG50 and which is highly effective in TI Nspire. Access scale in terms of degree and radian, again, is not available in Casio CG50 and highly effective in TI Nspire. When it comes to geometry, it is revolutionary in TI Nspire. You can just think of anything and you can do in TI Nspire. It is not available at all in Casio. And it is a complete package of geometry application in TI Nspire that involves, you can draw all the shapes, you do constructions, you do all sort of geometrical transformations like rotation, translation, reflection, shear, stretch, you name it, it is there, and highly effective. Data capture is another unique thing in TI Nspire, which is not there in Casio, but it is highly supported in TI Nspire. In coming slides, we will explore more about data capture. And then differential equations. This is like very popular these days in IB exams. They ask you to draw the sketch, the slope field or phase portraits, like in coupled differential equations or in linear differential equations, where you're not asked to solve the equation, just to sketch the slope field or phase portrait. You cannot do this in Casio for sure. And in TI Nspire, it is so easy, so effective, so friendly. We will explore this. So these are some of the things. Other than this, there are so many different applications, different functions, which give you a better support in TI Nspire. So we will be exploring some of those in coming slides. And meanwhile, if you have any question, please keep posting your questions in section, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Now, other than this, like everyone has been using computers for a long time. Some of us are using Windows, some are using Mac, Linux, and all. So all the commands and functions that we use, mostly commands, all the commands that we use in the computer, we use the same commands in TI Nspire also. Like we have commands like Control C to copy, Control V to paste, Control X, Control Z, and all those stuffs. So exactly same commands we use in TI Nspire. And there are so many different shortcuts. Later we'll share the list of shortcuts with you all, but these are the frequently used commands. So I thought of sharing this with you all. And the keypad of your handheld or your calculator is so friendly, like to type pi, to get pi, you just type pi and enter. To type absolute x, just type abs bracket x and you get it. Shortcuts like for derivative at a point, you just press control shift plus. For integration, you press shift minus, and so on and so forth. So this is something which is very handy during examination and during the process also. And all the anything that I'm doing here on my emulator, desktop emulator, you can do all the things as effectively as I'm doing here in your handheld also. Everything that you can do in your emulator, you can do in your calculator also. So it's easy to connect one-to-one with your students when you're working in the class. You're on your emulator, they are on their handheld. So it's very easy to see how things work. So let's explore this further, and how effective is this during the examination. So let's do it with the help of one question. This is from May 19, Higher Mathematics, paper 2, time zone 2. This was question number 5. It's a simple question, 7 marks question. Find the roots of the equation W cube is equal to 8i, where W is a complex number. Give your answer in Cartesian form. And then it follows W1 is one of the roots whose real part is 0. Then in part B, when W1 is this much, find the value of Z in terms of A plus BI. Now, since it is paper 2, so you are expected to use a graphic calculator to accelerate the process. And if you do it with the help of a TI Nspire or a Casio CG50, how it matters and how much time do you take, how effectively can you do? Let's explore this quickly. So first we will start with the TI Nspire. So this is our TI Nspire. So I can close this. If I need to use this again, then I can save it, but I don't have plan to use it soon, so I'm not saving it. So for this question, we need to have a calculator here. So I'll go to new document. I can add a calculator, graph, geometry, anything, but since I'm working on a question, so I can add a new calculator. So in this new calculator, if you go back and see the question, it was W cube is equal to 8i. So it has some unknowns. So I need to go to my algebra menu. How to do that? Just go to menu. And one more thing, if you are in the calculator mode, then menu shows you different commands. And let me show you quickly this one. And if you are in some other mode, let's say you're in graph, and when you press the menu, then these commands changes. So it is a good wonderful example of artificial intelligence, we can say. So I'll close it.
I usually tell my students menu is like a lighthouse. You know, what Jalaj just showed you is that the menu, it's just the same key is going to give you different options for different pages. So if you're on the calculator page, you see a very different set of options when you hit menu. When you're on the graph page, you see a very different set of menu items when you hit the same key menu. So the menu is like a light page. If you're on the list and spreadsheet page, which we'll explore it later on, it's like, you know, the Excel, the same key menu will give you something that's specific to the list and spreadsheet page. Likewise, even the notes page. So I always tell my students, you know, if you're lost, menu is like your lighthouse. Just go to that lighthouse and you'll know It's so many driven, as opposed to having to remember the shortcuts. Do I have to press F1 and then F2 and then remembering the shortcuts is something else. When you go to the menu, they're all written with the words, like Ajala showed, algebra. And what you want to do in that algebra, do you find the roots? So written with words, no guesses, and no need to remember a certain series of shortcuts.
Absolutely. And it is such a user-friendly calculator. Like initially, if you move from any other calculator to this calculator, I would say second law of Newton's second law, we will always ask ourselves and everyone why. We know I'm happy with my machine. But once you start using it, then you will see the difference. So we go to the menu. In menu, let me show it to you once again. Go to menu. In menu, go to algebra. In algebra, polynomial tools, because it is W cube. So we are working polynomial. Now, what kind of polynomials are we here? We are with the complex roots of polynomial. Just click it. Once you do this, you get a template here. C poly roots means complex polynomial roots. Out here, you just have to type your equation and you will see the magic. So W, and you can use any of these as your variable, A, B, C, D, up to X, Y, Z. They have highlighted X, Y, Z because these are commonly used variables, but you can insert any of these. So I'll use W here. So W cube, I scroll to the right, minus 8i or iota. We used to say it on old days, minus 8. Again, there are two minus. This is negative and this is for subtraction. So I'm sure everyone knows this. And I is here somewhere hidden with pi. So I, and now here we need to define what is the variable, so that we can do by putting a comma and W. And once you enter, you see the magic. All three roots are there. You have negative 1.73205 plus iota. It doesn't stop at 5, it carries on. So since my setting is that I am seeing 5 decimal places, so it shows 5. So this you can change in the document setting. You can go to doc, setting, and menu. If you want to have 2 decimals, 3 decimals, 4 decimals, then you can change accordingly. And you have to command your calculator. So you are the master, and the way you command, it will work. Now this is in a rectangular form.
Jalaj, someone asked to show this thing again. Someone's put a question saying, "Can you please show this thing again?" I hope they're referring to the polynomial roots. Were you referring to polynomial roots, Santosh Kaur? Someone put a question like that. Yes, they were asking about the polynomial. So if you can just show the polynomial roots again, and
so
Mr. Ranganathan also asked if you can have the answers as fractions, as and as an exact value, as opposed to.
Yes, we will come to that. Okay, so we go to menu. Now, again, as John says that this is this gives you a hint. What should you do? So our equation is W cube is equal to 8i. Now W cube is unknown, so it involves a variable. It includes a variable. So we have to decide which of these we will use. Action, numbers, no. Algebra, calculus, probability, no. So the closest one is algebra. In algebra, when you go, again, we have 3. Are we solving simultaneous equation, numerical solve, or polynomial? It was a polynomial, complex polynomial. So we go to polynomial, then complex roots of polynomial. So there you go. And later, all these screenshots are there in the slide, which we will share with you all later. And it is being recorded. Hassan, are you going to share this with participants?
Yeah, recording will be shared. Hassan will.
Yeah, recording will be shared.
Lovely. So now this thing we need to type here. So I'm not typing now. So what I'll do is I'll just select this, go to Control C. It has been copied. I click in the bracket and press Control V, and it's there. So all this computer commands are there. And once you enter, you get this value. Now, this is by default, it shows you the rectangular form or Cartesian form of complex numbers. So this can be changed here. If you go to a menu, now see, there is no variable here. These are just numbers. So when you go to menu, you go to numbers, and in numbers, you can convert to decimal, approximate to fraction, and so on, so forth. If you move down complex number tools, In the complex number, you can find all these things for these complex numbers. So I would like to convert it, since it's already in rectangular form, so I'll convert it to polar form. So answer to polar and enter. That's all you need to do. So you get this answer. Now, question, can we have the exact value? Since this is an irrational number, this is actually square root of 3. We can make it out, -1.73205. So square root of 3. If it is a rational number, we can have a fractional form, fraction or in decimal. But if it is a irrational number, how to get this exact irrational number? Let me check. We'll get back to you before this webinar ends. Okay. So you got this polar form. If you see, this is a Euler form where your magnitude is 2 for each of these, and these are different arguments. Now, one more thing, in your calculator, the arguments that you get will be your principal argument only. Now, you must, if you like to see what is the polar form of, say, modulus argument form of this. So what you can do is you can just select this one. I'll do Control C. I'll paste it here. Do you see on top there is radian, written radian? So my calculator is in radian mode. Since it is in radian mode, so to see that r CIS theta form or r cos theta plus iota sin theta, just change this radian to degree. Now to change radian to degree, again, there are so many different ways. So you can go to document setting, and go to document setting. And do you see the angle is in radian? So you can just change it to degree. But during the exam, we don't have time to do all this process. So what you do is you just click on the radian. When you click on the radian, do you see it's changed to degree? And if it is in degree, you click again and you get back to radian. So go to degree and enter. So this one, and we are in degree now. So go back here to menu, number, complex number tools, and convert it to polar. So this time when you enter, then convert it to polar, this one. If you just solve the question. So I think it takes around 35 to 40 minutes to plug in the values, go to all the menus, and another maybe 15 or 20 minutes to copy your work into your answer script. So it is quick, very fast. Now, I leave this here, this question, because we have solved. Now, if you're using a Casio calculator, then how do we do this? So this is a Casio CG50 emulator. So you can do this in the run matrix mode. In the run matrix mode, if you go to run matrix mode, and then after you just press options. In options, go to calculate. When you calculate, there are two options, either solve or solve n. If you use solve, then you have to specify a value of solution. Means if you have multiple solution, where would you like to see your solution? Which value of solution? So I prefer using this. If I need to use Casio, I'll be using solve n. So just press solve n. When you do solve n, actually I did this before. So okay, never mind. So in solve n, you write your equation here. So our equation was x cube minus 8 is equal to 8i, z cube, w cube is equal to 8i, sorry. Now out here, if you see, you cannot write a, b, c, z, w, x, y, anything. You can write only x. So what we do is we just write x cube is equal to, you can write is equal to 8i, or you can write minus 8i. I is hidden here behind 0. It is a secondary function with 0. So press second or shift and 0. is equal to, and equal to is also here with decimal. So this is equal to 0. Close the bracket and execute. When you execute, if you have multiple solutions, your calculator will say more solutions may exit. Just accept and press exit. So it says no solution. Why it says no solution? Because it is a complex number. Now, if you go to shift and setup, in the setup, our mode is actually A plus IB mode. We are in a complex mode, but still we are not able to get the answer for this. So what seems to be required now? This is x cube minus 8i is 0. So x is the square root of, cube root of 8i. So we can just do shift and cube root of 8i. So 8 and I is here, and you get an answer. Square root of 3 plus I. But this is the only answer you get. So to get other answers, you have to work manually. So this was part A. So if you're a Casio user, then most likely you will be doing most of the things manually when it comes to complex numbers, because there is not much support with the complex roots, complex number in Casio. So these are the screenshots. What we did. If you're using Nspire, you add a calculator, go to menu, then complex roots of polynomials, and there you go. So you may change degree to radian, radian to degree to get Euler form or polar form, which is also sometimes referred as modulus argument form. And remember one thing, that your argument is the principal argument here. And if you're using a Casio calculator, Casio CG50, you go to run matrix, enter options, calculate, use solve n, and in solve n, no solution. But if you do cube root of 8i, you get one answer. So this was part A. Now, when it comes to part B, which says given that W1 is Z over Z minus I, what is W1 here? W1 is satisfying the condition that its real part is 0. So if its real part is 0, it's purely imaginary. So this is negative 2i. So let's quickly look at this part also.
Jalaj, there is one question before we go into that part. There is one question from Deepa here. She said, how to get I of complex number in it? Are you asking, Deepa, is your question about where that I is located on the panel, the way he had done it? Is that what the question is? When you say how to get I of complex number, like the pi, when you type the symbol I, is that what you're saying? Where is it on the keypad? Okay, can you just show to her that on the Nspire screen?
Inspire, okay. So you're here in Nspire. I is here. If you see in pi, all the special symbols are here in this button, pi. So if you see pi, I, infinity, E, theta, degrees, R, G, all these are here in pi. Okay. Otherwise, what you can do is, if you can't find and it's emergency, what you do is you just type pi, and there you go. It is pi.
But I mean, this is excellent for the TI for the pi, but we don't have a similar thing to type for the I, right? I mean, the I can be found out just on that catalog for the special functions, but we don't have something. Maybe we'll write to TI and get something like that, Deepa. This is a great thing to assign them. But it's clever, right? Even if you type the words PI, the calculator will recognize. So maybe even typing an iota. And this is something that TI always encourages. You know, if teachers see something that would be interesting and we suggest them, they will definitely do some research, and maybe not the next day, but in the next couple of versions, it'll come through. And that's how they have kept modifying.
Definitely. So does this answer your question, Deepa?
Yeah, she said that. Yeah, cool.
Okay, great. Okay, so moving back to this question. The question was given that W1 is this much, and W1 is one of those roots where real part is 0. It's purely imaginary. So if it is negative 2i, so when negative 2i is equal to Z over Z minus I, so we can cross multiply and write this as negative 2i times Z minus I is equal to Z. Now, once again, if you are using an Nspire calculator, how it works. So now this is part B of the question. So we don't need to delete this or close this. What we can do is we can add another page into this. This is the problem number 1. We can add another page into this. So how to add another page? Either you can go through dock or just simply press Control I. Add a calculator. Now in this calculator, once again, we are working with a polynomial, a complex polynomial. We follow the same steps. Go to menu, algebra, polynomial tools, and complex roots of polynomial. Now your equation has changed. Your equation is, if you see, it was negative 2i times z minus I is equal to z. So I'll write negative 2i, negative, again, now I'm using this negative because it is a coefficient. So negative 2i, another bracket, z minus I, z minus, now I'll be using the subtraction, minus I. So I is here again, and bracket is closed. I'll go out of the bracket by scrolling to the right, is equal to z. So I'll just write minus z. And now I need to define my variable. My variable is z. And once I get this, I'll just have to enter, and I get the answer. So if we go back and look at the question quickly, and it's a good idea to remind our students that before you move on to the next question, read your question once again and see if you have reached what your aim was. Even in the exploration, when like I'm sure everyone is marking exploration these days. So in some of the explorations, we see that there is an aim explicitly stated in the beginning, but it was not achieved at the end. So similarly, during the examination, when they have some objective, like out here express z in this form a plus iota b, where a and b both are rational numbers. So we have to check before we move on. Do we get in a plus iota b form, ib form, where a and b both are real rational numbers? Yes, we do. So again, it took like maybe few seconds, 15, 20 seconds, and maybe next 10 and 15 or 15 seconds, you can put this on the paper and you're done with the question. So a 7 marks question you are able to do in 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes max. You save time here if you are using TI Nspire. Now go back and see how is it done in this one.
Casio.
Your Casio CG.
I forgot the name already.
Yeah, actually, when you're working with Nspire, you don't remember any other name.
No, but our friends today, our guests today are all Casio users. So that's, but we do have a question on the slope field. So, I mean, I just told them that we wait, it's on the plan. Once we're done with this, we'll come to that.
Yeah. Okay. So we just execute here. So again, going back to menu, run matrix, you can go to execute or press 1. That is usual. Even in normal scientific calculators, you have this one. So now we are solving the same question in CG50. So what we do is, again, we go to option and calculate, solve n. Now in solve n, we will write the equation, and this equation will be negative 2 I is hidden here, so negative 2i, a bracket, z minus I, there is no z, we have only x, so x minus I, and close the bracket, is equal to z. You can write is equal to z or minus z is equal to 0, so I can write is equal to z, that is equal to x, and close the bracket and enter. It prompts again, more solutions may exit. Okay, we accept those solutions, show us those solutions. Oh, sadly, no solution because you're working in complex numbers.
Complex mode.
So again, you have to do this thing manually. So going back to the question, if you're using a TI Nspire, these are the steps you follow. You go to add calculator, complex root finder, enter your equation and get the roots. If you're using a CG50, this is how you start. You run matrix, options, calculate, solve n, put the equation, enter your prompt like this, and finally you get no solution. So see, this is just one example, one question of 7 marks in IB exam. And you can see how effective and how supportive this TI Nspire can be during the examination. And this is not only examination, as we discussed before, it is throughout the process. So once you teach them, even during the class, you will see that the learning process will accelerate to a great extent, and you will see like the skills which they achieve by the end of the course.
Jalaj,
Yeah.
Jalaj, there's a question from Mr. Iyer. Professor Iyer is a very prominent, very well-known person here in Bombay. I've only heard of him. I don't think he's heard of me. So it's a great thing to have you here, Mr. Iyer. He's asked a question. Did you make the setting to accept complex plane in settings? In the settings, does it accept? I mean, the mode. I think that's what he's asking about. Does it?
No, I didn't do it. There is no change in the mode. In fact, I checked and I asked some of my friends. I checked online also if there is any way when we can solve these complex equations with the complex number in Casio, but it doesn't take. Let me show you another example, Mr. Iyer. And first of all, welcome, Mr. Iyer. Thanks, and it's a pleasure having you here. Let me show you one more thing about the complex numbers. If you go to algebra and if you solve any polynomial tools, let's say you're solving some equation, quadratic equation, simple quadratic equation, where roots, the coefficients are non-real. So you can have a degree 2. Yeah, let's make it degree 2, and roots are complex, and okay. So x squared, so let's say a is 1, coefficient of x squared is 1, coefficient of x, I would say negative 2i, negative 2i. And this is, let's say 3, okay, and solve it. So you see, even if your coefficients of your variables are complex numbers, you get 2 answers here, negative I and 3i. Now, if you do the same thing out here, it seems we can do the similar thing in the Casio. Let's see. So if you go to, if you'll be going to equations here, go to equations, and I'll solve polynomial equation by pressing F2, and degree is 2. So let me check again. It was x squared minus 2ix plus
1 minus 2, 1 minus 2, 3.
1, negative 2, and 3. Great,
Yeah.
thanks. Oh, sorry. So it's here. So 1, negative 2i. It doesn't take even value. It says input must be a real number. So this is basically, it has limitations when working with the complex numbers.
In the complex field, huh?
Yeah, in the complex field, it doesn't support.
If any of our participants who've been using Casio, I mean, you've been using for ages, and you have a possible way of doing, please feel free to share that also, because we don't want to in any way sound. So if there's something that since you've been using, especially in this context, the complex numbers context, if please offer that. So he's Professor Ai is saying, can you check the setup on the settings?
Oh, sure.
Mr. Hassan, could you unmute Professor Ai? Maybe he can speak, and maybe he can show how it works with the settings.
Okay, so
hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, sir.
I'm in setup, sir.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity.
Yeah, welcome.
I want to say that 1 minute. I want to say that the mute on is on. One minute, sir.
Yeah, sure.
If you go to complex plane in the numbers, there is a complex thing opening in the menu.
Hold on. Let me
go to run mode.
Yeah, I'm in run mode.
Option.
Options.
Complex.
In this one, I checked again. So if there is any complex number, it can give you its absolute value, argument, conjugate. You can
Go to
use.
setup, setup.
Okay, setup.
Go down.
Yeah. I'm here.
Yeah, your mode is complex.
Yes,
Yes.
Your mode is complex. Okay.
Yeah.
I've solved equations in complex in Casio, where it is you have kept the complex mode on, and you also went to menu, run mode, and then you.
Yes, I'm in menu, run mode.
So no, go to run mode, Yeah. Here, second, erase everything, and then let's start with a clean slate.
Okay, so hold on.
So solve x squared plus 1 equals 0. You're getting solve x squared plus 1 equals 0.
Oh, that you can solve. Certainly you can solve. What I was saying is, if you have an equation like this one, if you have an equation like, x squared minus 1, say plus 2 is equal to 0. Sorry, it's typing here
So
again.
the threat of this solving directly in Calci will be that it's a 7-mark question. Although the ease is given by TI, if I give a complex coefficient as an equation, and this would entail more than 2 marks, because GDC intervention is max 2 or 3. So if it is 7 and it justifies, so if I do this complex coefficient based equation equals 0 and then solve it via GDC directly, I don't even know what steps are going between M1, 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 M1. So I get A1, A1. So I got M0, 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 A1, A1 I'll get as marks for a question like this.
He's talking about the method. Is in a, yeah.
Sorry, it depends upon the question. If it is in paper 2, and in paper 2, it is you don't really need to show all the steps all the time.
I know what to ask in paper 2. By the way, as a teacher, as an examiner, when I give paper 2 7 marks, I'll get the juice out of it.
But sir, Professor Iyer, this particular question was picked up from paper 2.
It was a paper 2 question.
What you said was a discovery for me. At the same time, I have this Calci is a philosophy where I need to also fight for my marks in paper 2. Paper 2 getting is not easy. People lose marks in paper 2 because of Calci.
We will have a discussion on that some other day, Mr. Iyer.
Yeah, that's all.
Probably, excellent. We are going to have this kind of dialogue, and we'd love to have this kind of a dialogue.
Sorry, I'm giving at the topic. Sorry for the.
No, that's okay. No, we want you to speak. Okay, we are so happy that you're here. But because we were talking about technology use, and since we picked a question from paper 2, where as you're aware, technology can be used. That's the context of what we were discussing right now. But what you're saying is valid answer. How far we are delineating, how much should we emphasize the use of technology, how judiciously we use the technology. That's maybe we can have that for some other day.
You also have to throw some light on De Mornay's based sums.
We want to answer Chirag's question soon. So maybe, I don't know, Hassan, Jalaj, if you're done with this question, then maybe we can do the thing and then we can come to something else.
Yeah, then we can come back.
Yeah. Cool.
Thanks. Thank you, Professor. Okay, so moving on. So, so we saw how this is such a brilliant tool when working with the complex numbers. Another thing, you must have seen in the last question that we created 2 different pages in the same document for one problem. And if you are solving another question, you don't need to delete anything. You just create a new problem and you create new pages according to their subparts like part A, part B, part C. So I would like to quickly show you this also, maybe next 5 minutes. I think I'm running.
No, you go ahead, because I do want Chirag. See, I'm more concerned that everyone's questions is answered rather than our plans. So Chirag did ask about if you can do that. I know what you're going to do the page. I have made a note of it. If you can just do the slope fields, and then maybe we'll do the page, and maybe I can touch on that right after that.
Okay, so quickly, maybe in a minute or 2.
Okay.
Page, problem, and sketchpad. So if you look at the screen, this I don't need now, so I can close it without saving. So there are 2 options. Either you work in sketchpad or in document. So if you press the sketchpad, a simple calculation page is open. You can do simple calculations. some basic calculations that you will not need for later. Like if you just want to see converting some money from US dollar to Indian rupees or Indian rupees to euro and so on, or doing some calculations of how much milk was consumed in a month and so on and so forth. So this is for those sort of basic calculations. And when you close it, you will not be asked to save the document or so, because once you close it, it's all gone. Similarly, for the graph, for a quick look at any graph, any shape, you can use the Sketchpad. Now, if you want to refer it back sometimes later, then the best practice is to go to documents. Open a new document. You can have a calculator or a graph, geometry, spreadsheet, list, data, notes, vernier, widgets, and so on and so forth. So there are endless possibilities here. So going back to here, so we have pages, problems, and Sketchpad. This is a unique feature of Nspire that is not available in like calculators, GDCs, which I have seen. Maybe it's available in some, but not in my knowledge. And each document can be divided into at least 1 and up to 30 problems. Means you can solve a question paper which has up to 30 questions, and each problem can be divided into 50 pages. Means they can have 50 subparts there. Pages and problems created are interconnected with each other. So once you define in one of your pages in a problem, that carries on till means in the each of those pages. But if when you change a problem, then anything, any variable or any stored values which you stored into that particular page will not carry on to the next problem. So it is like this. So if this is your, let's say, a document has problems in this, and each problem has pages. So in Venn diagram, we can have a look at like this.
Jalaj, this is a little important, is a feature that I'd like them because most of them are predominantly Casio users. Can we just take one example, maybe to just illustrate this point? I know you did it to the Venn diagram, but why it is such an important thing, especially thinking in terms of exams? Just make a calculator page, just add a calculator page.
Okay, so let's start from beginning.
Yeah.
So we open a new page, a new calculator.
Define a function. FFX is equal to something.
Okay, so let's say, or maybe we can define a variable here. So if I define A as, let's say, 3 to...
I'd like to see the dynamic link. That's why I thought if you define a function here, and then I want to see another page of the graph page and using it there, either the composite. So if you define a couple of functions, then we can show them how, you don't have to, that was my thinking.
Yeah. So let's say you're defining something here, or maybe when you have some complex calculations or functions. So you just define this, and my A is now 3. So whenever I write A, I mean 3. So if I go to a new page, which I can do by doing from doc, insert a new page, or I can just go to Control I and add a calculator. Now, if I like to see what is A squared, remember our A was 3. So if I do A squared, now you see A out here. Before defining, A was in plain font. Now it is in bold font. Bold font means it is a variable, which is predefined. So A squared, it will give you 9. And it will remain same in all the pages in this particular problem. Now, if I'm done with, let's say, first question of an exam paper, and I'm moving on to the second question. So I can go to doc, insert, and this time instead of page, I'll insert a problem. Now when I insert a problem, and let's say add calculator. So do you see 1.1, 1.2? So these are pages of problem number 1. Now 2.1 means it's a new problem. So anything you defined here, like A was 3, A squared was 9. So out here, if I do, let's say A plus 3, simply, then what happens? It shows an error, because what you stored before was for 1.1, 1.2. So here you can define A again according to the question. So it doesn't carry, so that you do not use the same value, the same variable, which may have different values again and again.
Cool. Can we take a quick break? Maybe switch to 5 minutes of something that I'll show, and then maybe we'll come back to this. What do you call that? The slope fields. Just 5
Okay,
minutes.
actually, before slope field, I wanted to discuss about data capture.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Or do one thing, not just answer their question, then we'll come to data capture. Just, I mean, I don't know. This just I like to answer people's questions. Then just show them something about slope fields. Just he wanted to show how the thing goes.
Okay, so in that case, what I'll do is I'll move on to. I'll skip some slides and I'll move on.
We can come back to data capture later on.
Yes, we can come back. Okay, so what is slope field? Basically, I'm sure we all are aware. Slope field is when you're given an equation, without solving the equation, how to visualize the solution of any differential equation. So that is basically slope field. And slope field, Euler's method, all those, they used to be in options. Now, because of this new combination of MAA and MAI, they are now into the core. There is no option actually. So they are important for paper 2 and paper 3. So let's explore some here. So let's do it with the help of a question. This is again a question from one of IB exam papers. I don't recall which year. For the differential equation dy upon dx is equal to x times y minus 1. Draw the slope field, using integer grid points between -2 and 2 for x and y both, and sketch the solution curve that passes through 0, 0. So usually when we solve these kind of questions, what we do is we identify what is the value of dy by dx at different points, and we document those values in integer grid. And how do we document that? Like dy upon dx is equal to x times y minus 1. So for various points between -2 and 2 for x and -2 and 2 for y, we take a combination. Let's say x is equal to -2 and y is equal to -2. So we put x is equal to -2 here and y is equal to -2. So -2 times -2 minus 1 is -3, that is plus 6. So the gradient at -2, -2 is 6. It means tangent of, if you draw a tangent, then the gradient of that tangent is 6. So tan theta is 6. So we can find theta by doing arc tan of 6. So you get some angle. So what we do is on the grid, approximately that line segment which is inclined to that particular angle with the x-axis. So here is your grid from -2 to 2 from x and in x and y. So these are the values of derivative. So to draw those lines on the slope field, we just have to take arc inverse of these values. So if you see when x is 0, all values are 0. When all values are 0, then what happens? When you draw the tangent, that will be a horizontal tangent. So you need to draw a horizontal line out here when x is equal to 0. Also, when y is 0, when y is 1, all these gradients are 0. So again, when y is equal to 1, you will draw horizontal lines. And these 1 means 45 degree, -1 means 35 degree, and so on and so forth. So let's see how it happens. So this is a grid where you can draw lines. This is your integer grid. So on the graph, when you start drawing how it goes, this is how it goes. So when x is -2, y is -2, this is how you draw the lines: positive gradient, negative gradient. And you can see when y is equal to 1, we are drawing a horizontal line here. And at -1, 3, it's 135 degree. And when x is equal to 0, means at y-axis, we are drawing all horizontal lines. So first thing we do is we draw all these line segments, and then we try to visualize. Now the next part is to visualize. So we can roughly join it with the curves, parallel. These are parallel curves. So this is how it goes. So let me look at this. It is going a bit slow, but to visualize, I think slower is better. So without actually solving that differential equation, we can see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so these are all solution curves. And if you're looking at any particular curve or any particular initial value solution, then like out here, it was from 0, 0. So here a different color is used to show you that particular solution through 0, 0. It should appear so. Yeah, we can see this in the green, that this is that particular solution passing through 0, 0. And this is again a unique feature in TI. Nspire, if you're using any Casio model, like again, what Professor mentioned, there might be ways to solve complex numbers. So again, there might be ways to do this, but I checked everywhere. I checked with Casio, with some of my colleagues, but there is no way we can use Casio for slope fields. So you need to do this entire work manually. And this was a simple equation and simple example. So if it is, let's say, some composite function or some complex, by complex, I mean some complicated function, then it becomes very difficult to visualize how your graph will go. So when the solution curve is composite, it becomes difficult to visualize. So we need to do everything manually. If we are using, and of course it takes lots of time, and we know, like we discussed, the most important thing, or say the most important factor during examination is the time factor. Now, if you are using Nspire, let's explore the same example, same problem with the help of Nspire. So how do we do this? So let me show it to you. So what we do is we go to new and add graph, because we are exploring it graphically. So we need to add graph. Now out here, this is our graph entry. So we are not drawing any algebraic function. So we can go back to menu and go to graph entry. And there is an option of entering differential equation. So once you go to this menu, we can see that y1 prime is equal to blank. Now out here, your y variable is y1, it is not y. So just remember that x is x and y is y1. So anything that you write, if you see x, you will write x, but for y, you will write y1. The equation was x times y minus 1. So I'll just put x. You have to write multiplication. If you just put the bracket, it will take x, y minus 1 as one variable. So x times bracket is here. Now y1 minus 1. And if you see, for initial value, to get the initial value solution, you can fill in your value here. So I can fill 0 because we needed 0, 0. So I can enter. And once we enter, what we see is a magic. So if you like, we can compare it with our previous slide, that one. No, I think I need to run it all over.
But that's okay,
yeah. So it is same actually.
Yeah.
So once you get this, you get a very fair idea. And if you don't get any idea from here, then what you can do is you just put in some initial value, and that value will give you a better hint what type of the solution
conversion.
Getting, yeah. Now, and we can see that your graph is going upward till this point, then it turns. There is a gap here, means it must be asymptote somewhere here. Then again, it starts from up, and this is concave up, concave down. So it's very easy to visualize.
Can we take a break and just give some 5 minutes for questions, and then maybe Revdi can do the thing, and then maybe I can come back with whatever. I just want, maybe we've given enough information. Of course, we had some questions, but if there are any questions based on anything that you've seen, or based on, calculated inquiry, purchases, costings, maybe this is time just to break the monotony. Okay, we got so much more to share, so much more to talk, but we have a time limit. So I thought, just to break the monotony, let's just ask participants to interact. Maybe you want to say something. Maybe you have something saying, hey, but we can do this way. I don't know. Just feel free. 5 minutes. Participants.
Okay, yeah, so, great.
Yeah. Anyway, if you want to raise your hand, or if you just put something on the chat, or if you want something on the Q&A, feel free.
And sorry, meanwhile, I'll stop sharing.
Yeah. Questions time for participants. Please feel free. Any thoughts based on what you've seen, heard today? Any questions you've got? Perhaps about the calculator. Why is it so expensive? I don't know. Anything that you want to say based on what has been shared?
And John, I just want to add on a few things about the support services. I think I can take this time to explain to the participants. I think all the participants today, most of them are the users of Casio and few of them TI users. So people might have an assumption that after buying the calculator, whether the students will get the right information from our side and all. So I just want to clarify things that we have been doing training for all the Casio user schools who are introducing TI for the first time. We give 3 trainings, free trainings in a year, which we starts from the beginning. Like once the academic year starts, we give the first training, which is going to be an introduction training. That is for the students directly. And we take Mr. John, who's a TQ trainer, and Mr. Jalas, who's going to be a TQ trainer. He's also going to do training for us for students. And the first training will be in the academic year starts in the July or August. We fix up the timeline with the teachers. And the second training will be in the mid of the year. That would be maybe in the October or November. We'll fix up the appointment with the students timing. We'll align with the teachers, and that we'll go very topic specific. So the first training is the introduction training, and the second training is going to be topic specific training. And the third training is that before they go for the exams, that is a brush up training, I could say. That would be in the month of March or February. In between, if the schools think that they want any additional training or something, some support from us, yes, we are free. We can do that training as well. We can bring our trainers to their schools and we'll do it. During the pandemic situation, we are doing all the trainings through online. So that is also possible. So teachers can be very confident enough to introduce TI because they are going to get the support throughout the year from us. And also we have introduced a book, companion guidebook for the IBDP and IGCSE separately. So these books are just not the manuals. We have taken the curriculum, IBDP latest curriculum, and we have solved the questions. We have given the screenshots. So it will be very helpful for the students and for the teachers because they are going to study from home. We are not sure when this situation is going to change. So they can have these books to verify how to use the calculator whenever they find difficulties. And the softwares, yes, all the teachers will get the softwares when they introduce TI to their schools, so that they are not going to pay anything in additional. And the students will get the software along with the calculator. As Jalaj mentioned in the beginning that the Casio calculator is not along with the software, whereas TI calculators comes with one free student software for students. So students also will have their software in hand along with the calculator and one free guidebook. So I just thought to highlight these points. Any points you want to add on, John, please?
If you can just give me the sharing thing, I'll just quickly show something and then I'll hand it back to you because Jalaj wanted to talk about the data capture. So I'll just take a few minutes. Most of these participants, I think I can recognize their names. So probably, they can also recognize me and they're probably bored of hearing me, but it was fantastic hearing from Jalaj and everything that he could say. But I'm just going to share a couple of things. Okay, so if you all are, give me your attention. A couple of things that Jalaj said right at the beginning. He said, about geometry. He used in the slide, he said that how you can make it interesting. So you see a question in, the circle properties and all that. I'm not going to go through this, although Jalaj, I had prepared a little bit of the capture also, but I didn't want to focus on that. I just want to show them the diagram. You can draw images, even for an IM, even for an international math, and ask students to observe. Because, like we said right at the beginning, the purpose of the calculator is so that, they can observe and make connections and make observations and deductions. I'd already, this was some other angle, but I had given it special names for that observation. I'd created something called using this feature called data capture that Jalaj said. But let that data capture be aside for some time. But if I just present this kind of a image to a grade 9 student in my international math class, and the software that Ravi was talking about. In fact, my encouragement to all of you who are Casio users and who are contemplating this migration, I would say go and download it at the end of this webinar, or the email that's sent out with the link to the video. Hassan will give you the link to the software. Hassan, if you can include the link to the software, it's a free software, 90-day software. This software, you can use it, full features. It's not trial-based, means some features are cut off. 90 days, you can explore it before you actually buy it. I would strongly encourage you, go and play around with it. Okay, take this video and go to the website and download that software and play around with it. 90 days, it's a free software before you even try and make any financial commitment. But take a look at this. If you give the students, and they also get the software, by the way, okay? So it's like for the price of one, you're getting two. And normally I tell my students, buy both. It's not like, not buy both. It's like buying one and using both. I say use both. It's not like use the handheld or the software. I'd say use them in conjunction. It's been provided so that you should use it in conjunction. Okay, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So if I give this to my students and ask them to move this point around, and they'll say, oh, no matter where it goes, it says 68. Rather than giving the statement in one sentence, giving that axiom in one sentence, let them move it around and say, okay, what's going on? What's going on? Let them write down thoughts. And if I were to move the arc somewhere and then say, oh, now what's going on? Now it's going on. This is the part of geometry that makes it so much more exciting when it's interactive. Okay, and I don't know, Jalaj is probably more knowledgeable than me when it comes to his experiences with with Casio. I have not used the Casio so often, so maybe Jalaj, you can say, is this part of creating interactive, what do you call it, geometric images? Even for, is it possible in the Casio ecosystem?
No, not I know of. I tried a lot, but it doesn't work.
Okay, so Jalaj will talk to you about that data capture. But as you can see, when the children are playing around with this, he said that we can add pages. And what you can see, this is a geometry page. Okay, he introduced you to the graph page and the calculator page. This is a geometry page. The way you can tell the difference is there's a scale given here. But I have already added another page, the listen spreadsheet. And while we were playing around with that point, all these data got filled in. That's the data capture, okay? But Jalaj will talk about data capture. What I want to do is that I have created another thing here, R1. I called it R1 just, for the fun of it. And just like an Excel spreadsheet, if I just write a formula saying, hey, R1 is the things in A and this in this field divided by the, did I get the divided by? Okay, divided by the things in this cell, okay? All right, there you go. And there you go, twice. You see what's happened actually in this column. It's captured the while I was moving around. If you didn't believe me, I'll show it to you again, okay? So let's just delete this formula. And Jalaj, you got to show them the data capture, okay? I hope they've seen this thing because I don't want to steal your thunder there. So I'm just going to say, sorry, let's just say clear the data, okay? Clear the data again. Okay, as you can see, all our participants, it's an empty sheet right now. Where is the data coming from? It's coming from this page. Okay, and what is the data? On my first column, I've got the central angle. On the second column, I've got the angle at the circumference. So you just ask the kids, and even at the international math level, by the way, you can engage the students in inquiry, even in simple things like that. I mean, I had things, but I'll tell Jalaj to go with the same thing with data capture, whether you see these kind of questions later on, but I'm not going to take the thunder away. I'm going to show you this thing again to you, that when you move this point around, you see that the angle remains the same because, obviously we know that it's inscribed the angle no matter where it's on the circumference, because as long as it's inscribed in the same circumference, it'll remain the same. But the moment you start moving this point around, let the children observe it, let them make their reflections. And as you move the angle around at the center, and the angle at the center takes different values, let them observe what's going on and let them come up with some ideas. But they may or may not know what's going on. That is why we can introduce something like a data capture. Can you see all the values are filled in now automatically? All is filled in, and all we can give them hint is that maybe they're taking different ratios. Maybe they're taking, the other way ratio, the ratio of the angle of the circumference to that. No matter what that is, let them do whichever way. I already showed you. These are the same options that you use even when you do Excel. So the kids will be able to easily relate to that. And the moment they see that and enter the formula, it's twice, then say, oh, what's going on? And is it true? And ask them to formulate a statement rather than you giving the statement. So all I wanted to share with you is that using it as a teaching resource, teaching resource. Jalaj's presentation was all about the uniqueness in the time of exam. In my, little talk that I wanted to show is that how can I use the software that Revdi was saying, that especially in the time of pandemic, if you can't pay the money that, what is it, Jalaj, you said about the emulator? How much is it per year? 1,000 something?
1,170. I think 1,176.
Okay. There's a question for you. If you should get 100 rupees, something like that. Okay.
70.
Per year. Okay.
That is
now
per
this
year.
Is this software comes with the calculator when you buy. And you have, I said, if you are hesitant to buy, I would say, if you think that you just need for 3 months, go ahead and take it for 3 Is something going to open up? There we go. Something opens up. And, on my OneNote, what I do is that is there some solution that I can show them? One sec. All right. Can you see? Can you see what is here? So on my notes, in my notes that I'm sharing with my students, I can take a screenshot from that software. I can take a screenshot. So today is maybe one day I don't want to overwhelm with all the features, but I'm trying to show how as a teaching tool, how it stands apart. Because I was noticing what Jalaj was doing, and everything Jalaj was coming on that screen. Can we take screen grabs? Because it didn't show me. Can we do this kind of stuff there? It may be possible. I don't know. Because this one here comes as an image, meaning you can resize the image. You can, anyway, I use it as notes. And I think I'd even prepared, where was it? Which, one sec. No, these are some other things. Did I do something? Yeah, look at this. This is something that for my international math kids, I had prepared, just like we are. What is this for, by the way? Oh, this is for the general term. I prepared basically snapshots like Jalaj is saying, what should this be? This was for my kids, for my class. In my class, I was just doing this. You can actually, when you're preparing notes, especially when it comes to a pandemic situation, when you want to do something, you can prepare questions like Jalaj put it in the start. You can put a question and you can take snapshots of the graphs, and you can prepare worksheets. If this can be pasted here, it can be pasted on any word processor, and you can make it a PDF and email it to them and ask students to fill it in and give it to you. So that's the second thing. The last thing, and I promise this is the last, Jalaj, before I transfer it back to you.
Go on.
Is nahi, bhai, aapko bolna hai. And the last, because I'm focusing on teaching tools, okay?
Yeah.
This is a document I always like to start off with. And it might be slightly controversial, but Revati, let me speak about it, okay? I always promote CAS. I know that there have been teachers even in the TI world who say, hey, CAS is not allowed in the exam.
Hassan, can you hear me? Hello, Hassan, can you hear me?
Yeah, Rafi, I can hear you. I think there was some internet issue with Mr. John and Jalal.
Hi, sorry, I'm back.
Okay, yeah.
They are joining short
So,
while.
okay,
Yeah,
let me also
yeah,
add up
Jalaji,
on.
yeah.
So let me add on some points that until John joins back. Our calculators, some of the teachers were asking us like if they want to shift from Casio to TI, which model that they should prefer to buy in TI, and what's the price and other stuff. So Hassan, can you show our the slide, the last slide where we have shown the address and other stuff, so that I could explain? So currently the calculator which is shown in the slide is TI Nspire CX2. It's a non-CAS, and we also have CAS. So John will join back and suggest
I
which
am
model.
back. I am back.
Okay.
I'm
Yes,
so
you
sorry. I'm
take
so
over.
sorry. Did they leave? Did they leave? Everyone leave? Did they run away?
No, they are there.
I'm so sorry. Something happened to the Wi-Fi. I don't know. Someone heard me say whatever, and I probably thought that was it. Anyway, can you just let me share what I was sharing? I have no idea the sharing options. Yeah, I had my Acrobat here. I would strongly recommend the CAS for those reasons. As I said that, it is not just for the exam. It is not just meant for the exam. If you're looking at, like I said, if you're looking at your classrooms as teaching, learning, inquiry-based, investigation-based classes where students can come and inquire, if that is your focus, then I'd strongly recommend the CAS, because along with the CAS, comes more features. Okay, I mean, obviously there are certain things that we can do with the non-CAS versions, but in terms of inquiry, you can because the students can use the CAS even for the IAs and the EEs, especially when you're talking about the IB. Another thing in terms of teaching resources, because I was just talking about teaching resources in comparison with Casio. Okay, here's something that I love. Okay, now this is Python. This is, by the way, as you can see, this is the student activity, and this is the teacher notes of the same unit plan. Going back to our calculator screen, and I have with me the CAS version. Whatever Jalaj was sharing with you was the non-CAS version, but that's okay. As you guys can see that when we go to the home screen of the calculator, let's not, I don't want to save this document. Okay, that goes here. Can you see add Python, add program editor? I really want to know, if we have this thing in our mind that, we want to use our classrooms for more investigation, allowing students to engage with inquiry, and then we have this one platform, this one device, this one calculator. You have the software version of it also available at the same price, and allowing the students, and why not? Because, even our national new education policy last year, if those who are aware, for the national curriculum, I mean, our national education new policy that has had come out, they're saying that even at the 7th and the 8th grade level, students should learn how to code. And why not make use of these opportunities? Why should it just be for an IGCSE or an IB? Keeping that in mind, when you go to the education.ti.com website, which again, Hassan is going to send you all these links, you will get ready-made lessons. Okay, often when I do my webinars, people ask me, hey, can you share your notes? Can you share to tell them, what, there are umpteen notes like this. If you want to teach something on Python, if you want to teach something on TI codes, now this is just the 10 minutes of code. All right, there is a teacher notes, the entire activity, what you need to do. This is about the loop. Okay, this is available. By the way, I'm trying to say about the resources where you have an edge over Casio. All right, so the TI, if you belong to the TI ecosystem, not only I'm not just talking about the idea of coding, but I'm saying that you as a teacher may not be fluent in coding, but if the resources are there, the teacher can just read, and then all you have to do is that give the students the resources, and they will marvel. All right, so just like you have for that, oh, this is about the Rover. Can I just take a minute on that, Revati? Hassan?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Sure, sir. You can take it.
So just like you saw that we can program the calculator to do fun stuff, there's another instrument. Maybe someday we'll come to your school. All right. Any of our participants have seen this? Oh, my video camera's off now. My video's off, na?
Yeah.
Just a sec. I hope my video turns on. I hope my video turns on. Ah, now it's on. Can you guys see this? Can everyone see this wonderful rover, wonderful instrument by TI? Now, in this webinar, we're just trying to, our main thing was why should you switch, right? Why do we migrate? So the first part and the second part, I'm just trying to see what all you can use as teaching resources in your classroom. What you can do with this rover, or what you can't do with this rover should be a better question. What all you can't do? In some of the IB workshops that have gone, I think some teachers said they've used, for IAs and all, they just allowed students to play around with this thing. Now, what is this little rover? It's just like it's like a rover. It's a device. And what's connected to this, it's a little hub here. Okay, Innovator Hub. Your calculator, whatever you write to the program on the calculator, it can instruct this rover, this moving device, to move along a path. And that allows students to inquire. So let's say at standard 8, even MYP, why should they only come till 11th and 12th and do all this fun, cool stuff? I would say start with those 10 minutes of code, that activity. And all these things are there, the rover activities. I think I just shared that screen and jumped straight to this thing. I got too excited, or maybe I just thought that before the internet goes away. These are the 10 minutes of code for the rover. So whether you're teaching for the rover, that means it will show you, it's written like a lesson plan. What's the big idea? And you can use this TI to program the rover. So what I have done in my 9th grade class is that in the classroom, you can create paths, like put some tape, black tape or something, newspapers, and you can make some paths, and then ask the students that, let them work in groups and say, okay, your rover should move along the path. It can be a curve up to a certain edge. It can be straight, and then it can be a curve, and they should work in teams and come up with a program, which is a set of equations, instructions, that the rover stays on the path. And it's fun. They'll enjoy. And what will they learn? If you start something like in standard 8 and tell them, because this rover also has a little a pen, you can put a marker or a pen. So wherever it goes, it'll trace that path. Okay. So if you put a marker here, wherever the rover moves, the marker will, if you have a paper down, it'll trace the path. Okay. So if you tell the students, write a program in such a way that the path traced by the rover is an equilateral triangle. Okay, I hope you're hearing me. Write a program. So it is an equilateral triangle. You can say it should be 2 units or 3 units. You can tell them, give them those instructions. It should be an equilateral triangle. Now, the students in 8th standard will probably know that the equilateral triangle encloses 60 degrees. But they'll have to come up with a thought saying that, hey, if the rover moves for 2 units or 3 units, and then it must turn a certain angle so that the interior angle is 60. So they had to come up with a problem solving skill to say, what should it turn by if it's moving along this path? You see what's the scope, Jalaj? What's the scope of the thinking allowed in that, even in 8th standard when you use that kind of stuff?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great learning activity for, especially like, as you mentioned, inquiry learning, conceptual learning. It is great.
So I thought I'll just share in these things, like, what are the teaching resources available as an edge over Casio. All right. Absolutely. With that, I'll hand it back to you, Jalaj. If there's anything more, any other questions we have with the participants, then we can take that. But Jalaj, if you can just share about the data capture, because that's another fiery thing.
Okay. So thanks, John. Thank you so much. It was really great. And moving on, like John talked about data capture. So what exactly is data capture, how it happens, and how easy or how difficult it is to do data capture or plan your activities which involve data capture. So let me share my screen and let me share my ideas also. So where it is, it's here. Okay, I hope you all can share my screen. John,
yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah, we can see.
Lovely. So now, before we get down to data capture, just one more thing. Do you remember in the last activity, we saw like how document, problems, pages, they are connected. And when you create a variable or when you could define a function, then how it carries on. Now, the more effective analysis and say understanding of that connectivity between different pages and problems in a document, we will explore with the help of data capture. So what basically is data capture? If you say it in one sentence, it is like we use it for the dynamic visualization and effective analysis of data, simply. And where is the data? We will capture the data. How will we capture this data? Through some activity. So what is data capture? So there are a few lines, we can read through this. We can use lists and spreadsheet application to capture data from graph or geometry applications. And it is a key to unlocking the dynamic visualization of the tool, that is TI, that we have, the system that it has. And it is a great interactive tool to visualize and analyze the data and model for the conceptual understanding in MYP and in DP classes. Like especially when you're working with the investigations or even during regular classes, it is a great tool to teach in MYP and in diploma. Now, thing is, how does it work? Is it very difficult? It's very easy. So you will decide yourself. I'll just show you how it works. Like similar to scientific methods, we have a mathematical method for data capture. So first thing we do is we create an object in either in graphs or in geometry application. Then it follows to identify and define independent and dependent variables, because when we are capturing some data, we need to capture data corresponding to some variable. So we need to have some variable, some dependent variable, and some independent variable. Now, once you have your variables, you're ready to capture data, where will your data go? So your data will go into the list variables and list and spreadsheet application. Once you get your data, then what do? We collect data by modifying the objects in graph and geometry application. If you see, you created some object here. So we modified those objects like what John showed. He modified those segments, angles, and all those stuff. So once you modify those objects, then these variables generate data in the list variable after the modification. So once it is done, we can create a scatter plot to see the behavior of data, see the trend, how it goes through regression, and finally analyze the data, analyze the result, and use it in the context. So what I'll do is I'll show you it quickly. How easy is this using TI Nspire? So we move on to TI Nspire. So I don't think I'll need this now, so I can close it without saving. Okay, so I'll create a new doc and I'll add a geometry page here. Now, if you see in the geometry page, as we discussed before, if you go to menu, this menu looks different in geometry page. You can do so much here. You can have different shapes, different points, lines, you can trace, you can measure, you can construct. So I'll go to shapes and I'll draw a circle. How to draw a circle? Just mark your center and move away. And you can stop anywhere, wherever you wish. Click and stop. So this is your circle. Go back to menu. And since I would like to create some data, so I have to have two variables. So here I'm planning to investigate the relation between radius and area, or area of circle, or relation between area and the circumference, or relation between radius and circumference. So I'll draw a radius first. How can I draw this? I can do this with the help of a line segment, starting from the center, moving up to the circumference, click, and then you can exit this mode. So you have a circle and you can hold it and move it to change the size of the circle. But if you see, there is no data here because we have not defined any variable and we have not marked anything here. So what we do is just click on the radius, and after you click, either you right click to get this measurement, or what you can do is you can go to menu also and you can have measurement. So I would like to measure the length here. So length of this segment is 8.96. Now you just, you click on the circumference, again, right click, measure. Now this is a two-dimensional body, so you can measure the length, you can find the area too. So I'll go, let's explore the area. So its area is 252 centimeters squared, and the radius is this. Now, I would like to define this radius as a variable because I am planning to explore what happens when radius changes, what will be the change in area. So I'll select this, right click, and you can store it. Once you press the store option pops up, variable. Which variable? This is the radius. So you can either write R. Since it is the radius of circle, you may write RC and enter. Now, do you see the change here? Once you enter, it is bold. Bold means it has been defined as a variable. Now go to the area, do the same process. You store it. Since it is area, so I will define it as AC, area of the circle, and enter. Once it is entered, it is bold again. So we have defined these two. Now, I would like to collect this data. When I move the circle, the radius will change and the area will change. So I would like to capture this data into a spreadsheet. So I need a spreadsheet page. So simply go to doc, insert, new page, this one of these pages, or what you can do is, as we discussed before, I'm repeating this again and again so that it remains as a conceptual understanding, I would say. So we go and create add list or spreadsheet. Now, if you see, this is 1.1 and 1.2. It means anything that you defined in the page 1.1. Since we are in the same problem, in the same document, so anything that you had defined here will carry on into 1.2 also. Okay, so what we do is, we create a new list and spreadsheet page. Then we go to column A. Now in column A, we can name it, if you like to keep radius values here, just write RVAL. You can write values, but anything that you write will become, will be compacted into one word. So R value is good here. And out here, I'll write A values, that is values of areas.
Just one thing that you might want to clarify. What you label here, you're capturing radius. There you called it RC, here you called it R val. There you called it AC, here you called it A val. It must be different. Okay, this is a different variable now.
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to capture, yes. So yeah, just want to clarify that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Yeah. Now we go to formula cell. This is formula cell here. So in formula cell, we need to define these entries. How will these entries be generated? So just click, and menu is the solution of everything. Go to menu. Out here, you would like to insert, or you need to bring the data, or you need to create some action or statistics. Everything is here. Now what we are looking is for data. So how would you like to get the data? Data should be captured. And how would you like to have it? Automatically, manually? Initially, you can keep it automatic. Now, once you enter automatic, again, he's asking which variable would you like to bring in here. So you go to your variable. Now, you have 4 variables defined here. Here, your AC, A values, RC, or R values. Here we are looking to get radius values. So press write RC, and you can just enter. Once you enter, you see one value appears. Now, which is this value? The value which currently your radius value is 8.95. But out here, if you see, it is 8.95145. So this is again in the float setting. You can change if you want 10, 15 decimal places according to the context and data, you can change it. We repeat the process. We go to the formula cell here and then go back to menu. Again, we would like to capture the data. So data capture, automatic again. Now what is my variable here? So now I'm looking for the area. So I put AC and enter. So you get 251.73, and that is 252. That is the rounded off value. Now, we got 2 values here. The thing is how to generate data. if you go back, if you recall the slide, in the method, we need to modify this shape to capture data. Do you see that R values and A values are changing now? So all these values, different values, are being captured in your lists. And if you do it slowly, you capture more and more values. If you go fast, then there might be some gaps here. So do you see there are so many values captured now? All these values have been captured. Now this is very important. You know, when what happens is when working with multivariables to model some situation or to analyze the associated parameters, we need some authentic or say primary data. So this is in context of more of mathematical exploration. So when you capture the data, then in your personal engagement criterion, you are likely to get very high marks because you are creating your data, generating data, analyzing everything on your own. So it is highly likely that your students will get 3 on 3. So
there's somebody, Chirag just asked the question, how do you do the store? So if you can go back to that screenshot, that, you know, that storing the variable, how was RC created as a variable, you know?
Okay, so let me quickly show it to you. This RC, right, Chirag?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me show it to you in a new page. And you know, why I'm showing you in a new page, so that you know that it doesn't take time also.
Yeah.
So we'll go to menu, go to shape, circle. I just create a circle, then go back to menu and point and line and segment. Oops, sorry. Go to point and line, segment. Okay, so if it doesn't take at center, you can start from circumference. Okay, now once it is done, what we do, Chirag, here, we right click on the segment and we measure it. So it shows what is the length of this line. Now, click on the length, right click, or you can go to menu. Then you store it. Moment you press the store, it asks what variable would you like to keep it as. So if it is a radius, it is a convention that we write R as radius. So I wrote R, but if you wish to put A, B, C, P, Q, anything, if I put Q here, you can define it as Q. Why I'm keeping Q? Because I have already defined R in my another page. So I don't want that to clash with this. Does it answer your question?
Chirag?
Hassan, why don't you unmute Chirag?
Yeah, I have unmuted him. Chirag, you can speak.
Yeah, you can speak, Chirag. Is it clear? I'm not hearing. I hope that was clear.
Yeah, he may ask again. If it is not clear, we can discuss again.
Is it possible to impose conditions on the?
Yeah, hello.
Yes, Chirag. Yes, Chirag, go on.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, it's quite clear, but what difficulty that I'm facing is I'm using the calculator, and on the calculator, I don't have the right click option.
Okay,
So
for right click, press
control menu.
Control menu.
Control menu. All right.
Yeah, that's right click.
Oh, got it. Yep. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, welcome.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so this is Q, 1.3 was here. This is 1.2, 1.1. Now I have extra page here, which may trouble me later if I may mix something. So what I can do is I can always delete this extra page by clicking here, and this is gone. So now I'm left with 2 pages again. 1.1 is my geometry and 1.2 is my data captured. Now, to see how it happens visually, graphically, how it happens. So what we can do is you can clear this data first. You can clear this data also and create a new page to see how will this happen graphically. So I'll add a new page, and this time I'll go with graph. Now, in this graph page, I would like to analyze how radius and area are connected. When I change my radius, then how area will change. So I need to have two values. For two values, I don't need function and this form. I need to have scatter diagram. So to get a scatter diagram, either you right click or go to menu. So this time, let's go to menu and see. In menu, go to graph entry edit, and you see the scatter plot is here. So go to scatter plot. Now, in a scatter plot, where are my X values? How will X be defined as? So to do this, what we do is, for X values, I just go to the variable and I'll put R values in X. And what is my Y? I'll go and put A values here. So now I have, and just enter. When I enter, nothing happens because I don't have any value. I deleted all the values which I had before. Also, you can readjust your
Zoom settings.
Setting. You can do either in setting. There are so many different ways, or you just click and drag it, and just go to the area that you like, or you can also. I think my connection lost this. Okay, so you can drag this. Otherwise, you can just click on these units. You can make it 0 and enter. And Y also, you can just put any unit. So I like to keep some negative values so that it's visible. Okay, now we have three pages here. And if you're showing them how to capture, then you can move it, then go to 1.2 and show them the data. This is your data that you captured. And then in 1.3, you can show them how the data is generated. Okay, so data I can't see, data is up here. So what we do is we can
try zoom data. Go to menu and say zoom data.
So we can go to menu
and then zoom. And so zoom data in number 9.
Yeah, zoom data. So it is like a zoom fit for the data.
Yeah.
But do you see there are some gaps here? Why are there gaps? Because I moved very fast on my object. So if you go slow, you can see that those gaps are also filled. But I'm not very happy because these are in 3 windows. So if I want to show them the data, it is here. If I want to show them the diagram, it's here. So now what we can do is we can merge these 3 into one. How to do that? Just press Control 4. So first and second are merged. You press Control 4 again, and everything is here on your screen. You can move your circle, and do you see those gaps are filling now? If you move slowly, you can slowly move your gaps. So this is a very good tool when you want to show, like now this is a circle, you can do it for ellipse, hyperbola, parabola, any equation, any shape. And later, if you wish to use this data to model this data using statistics, that also you can do. Now go back to like, let's say unmerge it, just press Control 6. So it's all unmerged. So we are here. So this can be, you just click on the screenshot and you can capture it. You can use in your work, you can use in your planning, and all these things can be done. Now, if you like to do some statistical analysis of this data, then when you are in this list mode, just go to menu. And you can see in the statistics, you can do some calculations. You can look at the distribution. I had 2 variables. So where are my variables? In X, I have R values. In Y, I have A values. Frequency list is 1. If I say, okay, all my calculations are here.
Jalaj, I suggest we will stop here because, the more we talk, there'll be more. The idea today's presentation was to get people who are with Casio, giving them enough reasons why should they migrate. We've given a huge spread today, Jalaj. Thank you so much. Huge spread. So let's just give some time for some feedback, some questions. I still am not convinced that I should buy a TI, I should migrate to a TI. Let's just give some time for that. How about that? All right.
Okay,
so,
sure. And
yeah.
thank you so much.
Yeah. But great job. We'll talk about all the thank yous a little later on. But yeah, let's switch on, because even I see the attendees list, I see that people are getting a little slipped away. Maybe it was the internet connection. I don't know. But yeah, for those of you who are still here, just wanted to have some feedback about, or some questions you probably have. Maybe it's about the costs, or maybe how would it get delivered, especially during this pandemic time. Maybe it's about the software, I don't know, or maybe something about this, because in one sitting, you probably all realize that you all are asking, because this is a recording going to be available, because you're just listening. And we tried our best, and Jalaj, hats off to what he's shared today about how comparatively he's presented. And that's all just from our experience. And by the way, let me tell you something, Jalaj has been someone who's used Casio. And that's why we thought it will be a superb thing for him to share from his experience, rather than coming, from a very different angle. So yeah, over to participants for any questions.
Yes, sir, there's some questions people were asking where to buy and how the students can reach us during this pandemic situation and all.
That is your question.
So,
yeah.
So I wanted to add that yes, we have started this last time itself, because many schools used to buy directly from us and supply to the students, but due to the lockdown, the students are not able to go to the schools to collect their materials. So what we did is we have given a link to the schools, and we have given a best price school discount for the students. So they just the teachers need to share the link with the students, so the student can give their details, and they'll get the link to pay, and they can provide the address in the link itself, and the calculator will reach to their addresses wherever they are. And then I also heard if they are from Nepal or Bangladesh or neighboring countries, yes, we could send there as well. There's no issue, we could send a courier to them. Last year we did this, so this year we are planning to continue it. So yes, of course, you can happily share the links. We will send the links to all the teachers, whoever is joined today for the webinar. We'll create a link and we'll send it to you with a special pricing. So you can share that with all your students.
I was going to suggest something. I don't know whether that if anyone from the participants is going to download the software. Okay, I know that, I don't know. Is anyone going to, for the first time, because I see Greta's name here, and I see Geeta Sikka, I think she had come before for something. I don't know, there's some familiar names here. But for the first time, if you're already going to download the software, I've not completed, Chirag, and you're going to do something special. Now, I don't know what that special is. Maybe, Hassan, we can write them an email. I would like them to receive, Revati, I would like them to receive a free code, because it's a 3-month trial software.
Yes,
correct, sir,
3 months.
For this batch alone, of attendees who come today, if they are going to download the software and try out something really cool, and maybe, Hassan, we can email them, I would like them to win a serial code which they can then use it forever, at least the software. Can we have a yes for that?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Okay, so Chirag, he said he's already downloaded. So something for them to just, probe. I think it's, don't just do it for the software, but I'd say just go and explore for yourself. And because if you've been using Casio for so long, then, maybe download the video and find out whatever Jalaj is doing. Okay, is it possible? It's not possible, just, and for those of them who dropped out, maybe you can share that thing even on that email, Hassan, that, hey, we're making this special offer for this attendees of this webinar, and we'd like to give you a software. If you come back with, and you can give them a certain problem that they explore, it'll make them explore and then revert and win a software just like that.
Yes, after this webinar, we are planning to send an email to download the links. We're planning to send the link to download the software so they can start using it.
Any other questions? Mr. Ranganathan had asked a question. I'll get back to him a little later on. He was asking, I said it's something he asked about the R. Hassan, Jalaj, I don't know whether you know the answer. That data that we capture, the radius that you were talking about, can we restrict it that you're going to capture only between this value and this value? Like, you give a restriction in graphing and all that. So I wasn't clear about it. I said I'll get back to him a little later on. But
I'm sure TI has the power to restrict, but how?
Yeah.
Sure, I never tried.
Yeah, that's why I said, I know that we can restrict, but I wanted to show him how to do it, because you can do the restriction elsewhere. I just wanted to clarify his question, but Mr. Ranganathan, thank you so much for your question. We'll get back to you on that, all right? Okay, great.
We can unmute the participants. If they have any questions, please put your hands up, raise your hands. We can unmute.
Yeah. Okay. Can I?
Yes, you should.
Yeah. Okay. My difficulty was the last part that was explained about graphing the whole the RC and the AC values. So that is what was not clear. But I guess I'll be getting the recording later, so I'll recheck it. And also the second difficulty that I was facing today was I was teaching normal distribution to my students, and in that there was a graphing option that was there, like which I could see on the handbook, but I could not find it on the calculator. Like there was a mismatch in that. So if you can just like send me a link, like a YouTube video or something that I can see how the shape or in the normal distribution how the shaded area appears. How can I do that on the Nspire, the TI Nspire calculator?
Okay, just you will get the email address at the end of it. What is the specific question? Because I've done one thing for one school. I don't know which one it was on the normal. I think I want to make sure that I'm answering your question correctly.
John, you have done this for Indus International Pune.
Yahi question hai kya?
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you either send that thing to him or just send his email address to me, I'll take snapshots. Like, you know how I've done that for my class.
Chirag, if you mail us,
surely.
So
on educator support and technical support, we'll send you the link for the video.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
Yes, I think we should stop before everyone moves away one by one, and I'm looking at the numbers dropping.
So thank you for joining the session. I hope you enjoyed the session and you learned something new in this session.
Thank you, Jalaj and John, for the wonderful interactive session. Definitely, this session is one of the best session, as John said.
Somebody said that. Somebody said that at the beginning. Somebody said that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
great. I'm happy. Like I learned so much today, and John, you are a wonderful man.
No, you're an asset. Let me just put it that way. I told even before this.
John and Jalaj, some of the participants wants to speak. I think we should listen to them.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Hi, this is Sarita. John, you might remember me. We did the Cat3 workshop together, and it was it's always a pleasure to listen to you. So thank you for this session, because we are using Casio. Yeah. Yeah.
Which school, Sarita? Which school are you at now?
Don Bosco.
You. Okay, you had to tell me the school. Okay.
Yeah.
let us know. Let us know when we can come and do something for your students and for your teachers.
Sure, definitely. Yeah? So we'll be in touch. Yes, yeah. So we are in that planning to move to TI now. So I'm very impressed with all the options available now. Sure. So I'm very comfortable with Casio. That is fine. So, but now this is an eye opener for me and for my colleague also, Mimansa. I don't know whether she's still there. So yeah. So and very impressed, in fact. So thank you for this session.
Thank you. I guess that's it. Thank you all so much. Thank you again, Numerical Analytics, for this wonderful opportunity. As always, it's always great to share what we learn, and I'm sure we can have many more interactions like this. Yes, Revati,
so we have Mr. Mohit to say something, and Mr. Ranganathan.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So shall I?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. And first, I would like to thank everyone, like Mr. Jalaj, Mr. John, and the complete team TI for such a nice session. So my question is a bit different, directly to Mr. John. Sir, earlier you were conducting so many sessions on every Saturday.
Sunday.
Sorry, my mistake. Sunday. 3 to
Oh no, even you did Saturdays for IDC.
No, I think he's talking about the ones that I did it separate, other than let him say which one. Are you talking about the Sunday afternoon ones or?
Still, I am confused because you had raised this issue that earlier Saturday. I think it was Sunday, 3 to 4.
Even Saturdays, I think he used to take.
Yeah. So Saturday one was exclusively through numerical analytics, and Sundays what happened? I think I don't know whether you're aware. Around that time, my dog was not well. My dog died.
Yes.
I messaged. I had to cancel one webinar because
yes, I know.
Right.
After he passed away, I just couldn't get my act together. I've been thinking, I've been thinking, in fact, I was telling Hassan, I need to restart that. And I've heard many people say you should continue to do that. So I am going to do that. Thank you for reminding me I should get my act together. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks.
Yeah.
And thank you for this session as well, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Ranganathan.
Good. I have a question. First of all, thank you, Ms. Revati. Thank you, Mr. Jalaj, and thank you, John.
Yes.
My question is, when I was teaching in the US, we were able to do the indefinite integral using the calculator. But for some reason, it is either restricted or you cannot do it in here. Can you explain a little bit on that?
Maybe it's a CAS version. In CAS version, you can do that.
Okay. No, I think it was an earlier version. I'm talking about like 10 years back. It was like TI 89 or 92, something.
Yeah, probably 89.
Yeah, and some of those calculators are not allowed in the exam. Maybe actually that 89, some of those versions are not allowed. But
it's 89. It's not allowed.
89 is not allowed. But yeah, there were some calculators that came up with all those extraordinary features.
Yes.
But the CAS is allowed. Interesting. It's allowed in the AP exam. It's allowed in the SAT exams. So sometimes even I tell my students, not just for, like I was talking the teaching resources, explorations, IA, we can use that. But if the kids are planning to give the SATs, if they're planning to give an AP exam, or if they're planning to go to colleges in the US, might as well it is a one-time purchase, because you can lock off the features for the exams. That's okay, but then you can always keep it on for your SATs or if you're taking APs. And so they might as well buy it right now. And what's the price? What's the price difference, Reeti, for a CAS and a non-CAS?
CAS, the MRP is rupees 18. The MRP is 18,000, and non-CAS is 16,450. This is the MRP. But when we go for the schools, we give based on the numbers, and we give a discount to the students.
Okay. Good.
One more question.
Yes.
Do we really have to hook up another TI to bring it back from the exam mode? Or is there any other, easier way for the teachers? Because, I might not be available for all the exams in my school. Now that the exam was cancelled, I don't have to worry. But oftentimes what happens is we have a set of non-mathematical teachers who are invigilating the exams. So I often find it difficult for them to, bring back the calculator from the exam mode back to, non-exam mode. So is there any shortcut or any easier way to do that?
Currently, how are you doing?
I think he said he's using the calculator.
Yes.
Okay.
Ranganathan sir, you can exit from press to test mode using the software as well. So if you connect the handheld with the software and from the tools, you can just come out of it.
But the problem is software is with me, and I won't be available in the school.
Even students by themselves, they can exit from press to test mode using the software.
Okay.
So the students will have their software at home, maybe because they're not carrying the exam, computer.
But the problem is half our students don't download the software.
You must, Mr. Ranganathan. I tell children. I have
been telling them, but for some reason they just don't. I don't know why.
I told Revati, Revati, now when you send these calculators to the students, put something on the box. Do not lose the code. Because what they take in the unboxing, they just throw away everything. They're looking at the calculator, and I ask the kids, where is the code? Serial code, and I tell them, which is why I tell.
We're often, focus on the toy, but not the manual.
Yeah, I'm not just talking the manual. If at the start, if you tell, like if you're going to buy a purchase, and teachers, if you're listening to this, you should instruct even before it goes out that they, like I use the word, it's not you can use this or this. It's not or statement. I would strongly recommend it's an and statement. They have to use this and this. And so when you keep saying that in your class, they'll say that, hey, this is also important. And at the same time, if you're sending in those TNS files, there is a resource on the lots of resources for those of you who are still here. I think people have already left, but if you go on the ti. Where is that website? One sec. There are tons of activities available, and those are TNS files. And sometimes those activities are easier done on their software than on their handheld. When the students are doing things for the IAs, you know what, they can do stuff on the IAs. You can transfer that document onto the laptops and continue working here, and they can work here and then continue with the handheld. But I'd say at least those activities, those TNS files that are available on the website, allow them to use the computer. So I make it a requirement as much, in my classes, just say you must use both, and I strongly recommend that. Plus, if you tell them that you're buying 2 calculators for the price of 1, it's literally that, right? I mean, this one and that one.
Yes.
And I would like to add one thing here. Like if you change your machine, you can transfer your license to your new machine. I recently did this. I just wrote to TI Cares and they transferred my license to my new laptop.
Okay. Thank you. I don't want to hold up anymore.
Yes. Thank you again. Revdi, shall we